Hi, Year 5. More from The Ice Monster. Starting with Chapter 36, Missing Mammoth. You might think a mammoth would be too big to lose, but that was exactly what Elsie and Dotty had done. "Woolly!" called out the girl. "I'm not sure she's going to come running like a dog," said the lady. "She can't have gone far." Elsie looked at the floor of the museum for any mammoth footprints. There was a trail of them that went all the way up the steps. "She's gone upstairs," said the girl. "Oh no," said Dotty. "I cleaned the upper floors last night." "Why would she have gone up there?" The lady thought for a moment. Maybe she wanted to see the butterfly collections. Elsie shook her head. "Come on, let's go upstairs and look." Apart from the sound of the wind swirling in from the broken windows, the museum was eerily silent. The pair followed the footprints all the way up to the top floor, where they came to a stop outside the library. "I didn't know mammoths could read," remarked Dotty. Elsie shook her head in disbelief. "Where to next?" "Well, this is the top floor of the museum. She can't have gone all the way up to—" Before Dotty could say the roof, there was a deafening sound from above. Crash! The pair looked at each other. No words were needed. Boom! Debris started falling from the ceiling. "How do we get onto the roof from here?" asked the girl. "There is only one way. Follow me." They scrambled up a flight of steps. Ahead of them they could see a mammoth-sized hole in the wall. "More mess," muttered Dotty. When they reached the hole they saw the most startling sight. The mammoth was standing on the roof looking across London's skyline as dawn was breaking. It would have been a magnificent scene to paint, but sadly there just wasn't time right now. "Woolly!" cried the girl as she stepped out onto the roof. "What are you doing up here?" The animal chose to do the same selective hearing check on Elsie that the girl did on grown-ups. She kept staring forward. "What's she looking at?" asked Dotty. Elsie followed the creature's gaze. "The Royal Albert Hall, Hyde Park, Lord's Cricket Ground." "Do mammoths like cricket?" asked Dotty. "I don't imagine so." "No, hard to hold the bat with the trunk," she mused. "What's beyond Lord's?" asked Elsie. She hadn't ventured too far out of central London. "Hampstead Heath," replied Dotty. "Beyond that? Highgate Hill? Beyond that? I don't know. I never did history at school. Geography? That neither." Elsie stood beside Woolly and patted her side gently. "What are you looking at, my friend?" she whispered to the animal, but the mammoth just kept staring straight ahead. She lifted her trunk to the sky and let out a mournful cry. "Hoo!" The girl wrapped her arms around the animal to give her a hug. The mammoth leaned towards Elsie and wrapped her trunk around her. "Not too close to the edge, please, Woolly," she said, guiding the mammoth back. Dotty took a step forward. "That's an awfully long way down," said the lady. "There's the robber!" came a shout from the ground. Elsie looked down over the edge of the roof. There was a whole squad of policemen looking up at them. Chapter 37. Bang, bang, bang. "Get down from there!" came a shout. Elsie knew that voice. It was the head of the police, Commissioner Barker. "We've had reports of a large lady in a hot air balloon crashing through the window of the museum." "It wasn't me," called Dotty. "It must have been another large lady flying a hot air balloon." "Pull the other one. It's got bells on," came the shout from below. Elsie was shaking. "Dotty, if they catch us, they'll lock us up, and goodness knows what they'll do to Woolly." "Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear." "Please stop saying 'oh dear' over and over again. We need to find a way out of here, or we're all done for." "Oh dear." The poor lady couldn't help it. "Oh dear, I didn't mean to say 'oh dear'. Oh dear." "You have 10 seconds to give yourselves up, or we will be forced to open fire," barked Barker. Then there was the sound of rifles being cocked. Click, click, click. "Have you ever ridden a horse?" asked Elsie. "No." "A donkey?" "No." 10. "Ever sat on a carousel at the fair?" "Oh, no." "Me neither, but how hard can it be?" 9. "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" asked Dotty. 8. "What am I thinking?" replied the girl. 7. "That you're going to ride on my back." 6. "I'm not thinking that," said Elsie. 5. "Oh dear." 4. "I'm thinking we're going to have to ride this mammoth out of here." 3. "Oh dear." 2. "Yes, I know. Oh dear, but right now we don't have much choice." 1. "Yes," agreed Dotty. The pair grabbed hold of a tusked and with all their might forced the mammoth backwards away from the edge of the roof. "Fire at will!" came the bellow from down below. Gunshots crackled in the dawn sky. Bang, 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 bang. Chapter 38. A slap on the bottom. Bang, 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 bang. Hoo! The mammoth started wailing. Being a prehistoric creature, she'd never heard gunfire before. She began flailing around in fear. Ah! Cried Dotty. Hold on! Yelled Elsie. The pair gripped onto the tusks as tightly as they could. Don't let go! Shouted the girl. If they did, they'd be hurled from the roof and become human jam on the ground below. Bang, 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 bang! The mammoth retreated through the hole in the wall she had created. Now she was inside the museum, dragging her two new friends with her. Safely inside, Elsie let go of the tusk and fell to the floor. Doof! Meanwhile, Dotty was being thrown around like a rag doll. Help! She shrieked. Let go! What? I said let go! Finally, Dotty did so and fell face down. Boof! This floor needs a good polish, she remarked. There isn't time for that, said the girl. We need to escape. Bang, 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 bang! Reload! Ordered Barker. The gunfire had ended for a moment, and the mammoth stopped flailing around. The girl patted the animal and stroked the fur on her trunk, which helped calm her down. Willie, I will never let anything bad happen to you, I promise, she whispered. But you're going to have to trust me, all right? I know you're not going to like it at first, but this is the only way out of here. Now, Dotty, give me a leg up. Are you sure this is a good idea? No, but it's our only idea. Elsie put her hand on the lady's shoulder. Dotty cupped her own hands, and the girl used them as a step to climb onto the animal's back. Good mammoth, said Elsie. The girl gripped the animal's flanks with her legs and used 2 handfuls of fur as reins. To her surprise, the mammoth didn't buck or even let out a sound. In fact, she immediately seemed comfortable with this new arrangement. Elsie reached out her hand to help Dotty up. Come on, ordered the girl. The lady was getting on a bit and struggled to heave herself up. Once she had, Dotty couldn't swing her leg over the animal like Elsie. Instead, she lay face down on Willie's back, her head buried in the animal's fur. It all looked rather undignified. Are you comfortable? Asked Elsie. Of course not, replied Dotty, but I think we'd best get a move on. If you're sure. The girl had seen the great and the good ride their horses through the parts of London which had given her some idea of how it might be done, so she dug her heels into the animal's sides, tugged on her fur, and ordered giddy up. Unfortunately, the mammoth didn't move an inch. Oh dear, muttered Dotty unhelpfully. Dotty, asked the girl. Yes, child. Would you mind giving our prehistoric friend a little pat on the bottom? If you're sure. As gently as you can, just to see if we can make her move. Understood. Then the lady did as she was asked. She raised her hand, a touch, and brought it down on the animal's rear end. Slap! Hoo! Instead of a nice gentle trot, the mammoth went straight into a gallop. Woohoo! Cried Elsie as they charged down the stairs. Chapter 39. An Unwelcome Sight. Poor Dotty was thrown up and down with each step the mammoth took. Pound, 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 oof, oof, oof. As they rode down the staircase on Willie's back, Elsie and Dotty were met by an unwelcome sight. The professor had come too. Now he was sitting up straight in his wheelchair at the bottom of the stairs with the dart gun in his hand. You should have hit me harder, he purred. I wish I had now, replied Elsie. Because of her undignified position, slumped over the back of the animal with her face buried in Willie's fur, Dotty was struggling to keep up with what was going on. Oh no, not him again, she remarked. Prepare to die, both of you, said the professor. He pointed the gun straight at Dotty's bottom. A deafening sound came from the huge wooden doors behind him. Boom! What's that? Asked Elsie. That will be the policemen battering their way in, replied the professor. Boom! And another. There's just enough time to kill you and claim this monster as mine. Boom! Another. I'm going to enjoy this. Boom! Behind the professor, the doors to the museum burst open. Smash! Shards of wood flew into the air. The battering ram, which was a huge log on wheels, was going at such a speed the policeman couldn't stop it. Whirr! It sped right towards the professor, whacking the back of his wheelchair. Boof! Ah! The force of the whack sent the man shooting across the floor. Whiz! He crashed straight into a glass case of stuffed apes. Bang! The professor was thrown up out of his wheelchair. Pow! And smashed through the glass. Shatter! Knocked out cold, he landed right between 2 of the apes. With his mouth wide open, he could have passed for one of them. All this commotion startled the mammoth, who let out a gigantic hoo! Elsie patted the animal and said, Whoa there, Wooly. It was no use. The mammoth began charging towards the line of policemen at the door. The officers all cried out, Help! No! I don't believe it! It's alive! The ice thingamamomy! A real-life monster! I ain't done no training for monsters. I want paid overtime for this. My ma said I had to be back for breakfast. As they leaped out of the way of the rampaging beast. Elsie and Dotty held on for their lives as the mammoth galloped out of the museum. "After them, you fools!" snarled Barker. "That monster is the property of the Queen. We must bring it back, alive or dead." Chapter 40. Chocolate Balls. Willie was way too fast for the policeman. By the time they had scrambled to their feet, the mammoth was long gone. The creature galloped out of the grounds of the Natural History Museum and charged down the road. "Hoo!" Try as she might, Elsie could not get the animal to slow down. Poor Dotty was thrown around on the back of the mammoth. Oof, oof, oof. London was waking up, and a handful of market stallholders were wheeling their produce along the snow-covered roads. "Mind me, plums!" shouted one as his barrow of fruit was trampled underfoot. "Watch me nuts!" yelled another as his roasted chestnuts were sent flying. "You crushed my chocolate balls!" hollered a familiar voice. "That must be Raj," remarked Dotty. "Who?" asked Elsie. "Raj. He sells sweets at the market here," replied Dotty. She called out to him. "Hello, Raj!" The man smiled and waved. "Oh, hello, Miss Dotty, my favourite customer. I have some half-chewed licorice on special offer today." "I can't stop, Raj." "And feel free to come back with that huge furry long-nosed donkey of yours for a sugar lump." "She's a mammoth." "She's very big for a moth." Still the mammoth galloped through the snow. "Hoo!" she cried. "Where's she taking us?" asked Dotty. "I don't know," replied Elsie, "but wherever we're going to get there fast." With some difficulty, Dotty lifted her head to see for herself. "North!" she exclaimed. "We're heading north." "Always north," replied the girl. Up ahead, Elsie saw the sandwich board man she'd met outside the Natural History Museum. On spotting the mammoth charging towards him, he shouted, "The beast is alive! The end is nigh!" "Your end will be nigh if you don't get out of the way," shouted Elsie. By tugging on the mammoth's fur, the girl just managed to make her swerve past him. "The end is not quite nigh," he shouted as they passed. "Willie's going to trample someone to death if we're not careful," said Elsie. "We need to get her off the streets, hide her somewhere." "I know the perfect place," replied Dotty. "Where?" "The Royal Hospital. It's not far. It's where Titch lives. He'll help us." "How do we get there?" "Can you steer?" "A little bit." "Then steer right." The girl tugged on the fur of the mammoth's right side, and the animal veered right. "But, Dotty, we can't just turn up there with a mammoth." The lady was stumped by this. "Oh, yes, you're right. I'm pretty sure they only treat old soldiers, not animals." "Prehistoric animals?" "Yes, I imagine they aren't welcome. Someone might tell on us." "We have to disguise her somehow," said the girl. "We could shave her and say she's an elephant." "Hold on." "I am holding on, love, for dear life." "I've got an idea." Elsie steered the mammoth down a dingy back street. Just ahead was a laundry where a number of sheets were hanging up to dry. "We just need to borrow these sheets." "Whatever for?" "You'll see." Chapter 41. Good Eye. "It's a what?" roared the guard at the gate of the Royal Hospital. He was a fearsome old soldier, a sergeant major no less, with a chest full of medals on his scarlet coat. He sported a monocle on his left eye and an eye patch on his right. "It's a brand new top-secret tank," replied Elsie, gesturing at the mammoth hidden under some sheets. "Boulder Dash." "It's not Boulder Dash, it's a brand new weapon for Private Thomas," added Dotty. "Titch Thomas?" "Yes, that's him, the shortish one." "Shortish is an understatement," chortled the sergeant major. "Titch is so tiny he gets mistaken for a toy soldier." "Ha ha 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 ha." Dotty started to look angry. She didn't appreciate hearing the love of her life spoken about in this manner. "He may be small, but he's perfectly formed." "Titch is 73 if he's a day," replied the sergeant major, "and his feet wouldn't reach the pedals. What on earth does he need this contraption for?" "That's top secret, isn't it?" answered Elsie. "If we told you, it wouldn't be top secret." The old soldier did not look convinced. "Who are you, anyway?" "That's top secret too," replied the girl. "Now, open this gate," ordered Dotty. "Hoo!" went the mammoth from under the sheet. She raised her trunk. The sergeant major was becoming increasingly suspicious. Elsie and Dotty looked at each other nervously. "What was that?" demanded the sergeant major. "That?" asked Dotty. "Yes, that. Well," began Elsie. "It was his cannon thing, just lifting up." She pushed down on the trunk and Willie let out another "Hoo!" "It just said something," snarled the sergeant major. "No, it didn't." "Yes, it did." "Didn't." "Did." "It was me," chimed in Dotty. "I was looking at you the whole time," said the old soldier. "From the good eye?" "Yes, from the good eye. Your face didn't move." "Well," began Dotty, "that's because—" "Spit it out, woman." "That's because the sound came from my body." "Your body, madam?" And that's it for today, Year 5. See you next time.